This is Errol Marks from the Worldwide Sports Radio Network. We're here at Super Bowl 59 Radio Row, Job of the Mouth, and we're here with the producer, the lead producer, the one.
Publisher,
producer. They're all the same in my eyes.
True.
The one, the only, Kade Kistner. What's going on?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. We actually met you a couple of days ago when we stopped over there.
We're getting into that already?
Yes. We were at the media party, and you were hanging out, and you're like, I don't know anybody over here. And then we met Scott. We were talking to Scott, and then all of a sudden you reappeared. And then we didn't even know who you were. And then you were talking about flying planes and doing all this other stuff. That's how you caught his attention. And then all of a sudden, then automatically, we were talking about baseball, and then you were like, oh, I'm the publisher of the MLB. So how are you, man?
Hey, I'm good. Yeah, it's awesome being here, cover baseball and, being out here at Media Row, talking with Nick a few minutes ago. It's kind of foreign, right? But it's a pretty cool experience, kind of getting to be out here and meet a bunch of different personalities. And so it's been a really fun week.
You're not a football guy.
I love football, but no, I'm not. I don't really cover football. So,
but you're a baseball guy.
Big baseball
guy. And we have a baseball player here. He played for the Yankees. He played for Cleveland. He played for quite a few teams. He was in the majors for about 8 years. So before he gets into his argument, well, I'm going to be arguing. He'll just, he'll sit on your lap and just agree with everything that you say. Me, on the other hand, I do want to get into a little baseball with you because you said some very interesting things the other day.
Oh, no.
About the Texas Rangers, which I completely disagree. And you came out and you said, well, the Rangers just have to add a little sprinkle here and a little sprinkle there, and they're a championship team. They're a World Series championship team. So give me the reasons why you actually think that.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think the lineup is very talented, right? You've got two superstars up the middle and Marcus Semien and Corey Seager. Josh Young, he's going to be healthy this year. He's great at the hot corner. First base, that's kind of the question mark, right? You got Jake Berger, who, the Rangers just signed. And the outfield, I think it looks pretty good. Dallas Garcia is what he is. He's pretty consistent. And
you got a young, fast outfield.
Yeah. You look at Wyatt and some of those guys out there, Evan Carter. I mean, these guys are really up and coming. And they've been producing even at the highest level. Look at Evan Carter during the 2023 World Series run, right? And then he kind of dipped off a little bit last year, along with the rest of that lineup. And then, again, take a look at the rotation. I think there's, Jacob deGrom is back. You got Nate Eovaldi, who's still around, and he just re-signed with the team. And so you've got a pretty good, you got a lot of depth there. And then you can't discount Bruce Bochy and how he manages the bullpen. And the Rangers really, really focused on kind of revamping and retooling that bullpen this year or this winter. And so I think the Rangers, they're probably got a very good shot winning the division. 75% chance, I think, is what the Pacoda projections were. Whatever stock you put in that, but so I think the Rangers actually look pretty good. And like I said, you make a couple of acquisitions and some guys kind of pop off, and you might have another 2023 Cinderella run on your hands.
That would be quite a surprise. I like the Rangers. I think they're great. I like Bruce Bochy. Obviously, Eovaldi is one of my boys. So I wish nothing for the best for them. Obviously, the Astros are always a team that big rivalry team that's going to be kind of in the way. But right now, they're kind of up in the air, and I think it is the Rangers' division to lose. Right,
I would agree. Yeah, because the Astros, they haven't really kind of solidified the Alex Bregman deal yet.
Yep.
That's kind of still up in the air. And then too, it's just kind of an aging roster. You lose Kyle Tucker, so it's Presley, Justin Verlander. He's now with I believe the Giants. So yeah, but again, the Astros always somehow they find a way. And then the Mariners too. Their
pitching rotation is actually really good. It's young, so they got a good core of pitchers there that I think will carry them at least deep into the games. And then the question is going to be the offense if they can, match what their pitching is doing.
Exactly.
So when you look at MLB, obviously, you cover with Sports Illustrated, you cover all MLB. Where's the state of the game? How do you see analytics playing into it? What as a fan and as somebody who's in the game, what do you want to see?
Yeah, so actually, I think kind of the hot topic the last few years was the rule changes, right? And kind of speeding up the pace of play. I'm not really quite sure what a player's opinion is on it, but as just a fan or someone that has to go to ballparks all the time, I think it's been great. You see MLB viewership go up. There's more people watching it. I think it's kind of catering to the younger market right now with these younger kids that have kind of shorter attention spans. So I think that's actually been very good for the game. I know there was a lot of resistance, but after a couple of years of seeing it, I'm kind of a fan. But as we were talking about offline here a few minutes ago, analytics, right? It's completely changed the shape of the game.
Yes.
And not for the best. I'll tell you that.
Not at all. Right. And you have, analytics departments that are the ones making decisions on the lineups, right?
Yep.
When to pull guys, bullpen management and things like that. And again, we were using the Snell example, during, what was it, game 5 or something.
Yep.
And pulling him after 5 innings as he's dominating. It's because the analytics department says, well, one more time through the one more time through the lineup, right? This guy's going to fall apart.
Yeah,
but
flip the lineup 3 times. But if you watch the game, he was dominating. And it's like, how do you pull a guy that's absolutely dominating? He's got his best shit, and you're just going to pull him because analytics say.
Right.
It's like at some point you have to have a little bit of feel, especially as a manager. Like, no, you know what? I'm going to ride and die with my ace. Let's ride. Let's see how long he can get me. Let's save the bullpen and, live another day.
You don't need a manager anymore. You don't need a GM anymore. All you need is an analytic department, and that's all you need. You don't really need it anymore. Why do you need a manager on the bench if you're only going to go up top and ask him, well, how long, or you have a game plan? Guy's only going to stay in for 5 innings, and then we're going to this guy, that guy. There's no need there's no manager, and there's no need for a GM because you're going to only work through analytics.
You need to let the managers manage.
Yeah, well,
I think there's a
not going to happen anymore.
I think there's a time. Well, the older managers, they have a little bit more say, I believe.
But they're getting out of the game now. I mean, Bochy only came back because he's coaching or managing a team that he always wanted to manage. If it wasn't Bochy, I remember Bochy came out and said that the Rangers were his only destination if he was going to come back. That's what he said. Bochy was never back to baseball. Are you going to expect any of these older guys after leaving? Girardi's never going to get a job again.
Francona
only came back because I think Francona was sick and he realizes that he can't stay away from the game. Yes. And that's a lot. We've seen this all. Dusty Baker did the same
special
thing.
Though. He's special for the game. The game needs more managers like Terry Francona. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame manager.
Every team is going young now. Every single team is going young.
They're
These
cheaper.
young catchers. They're cheaper.
Easier to control.
Why would I pay Cade 1.5 when I can pay Cade, you, and me $500,000 or whatever the minimum is now, $700,000, and hope that one of us hit, right?
Mm-hmm. It's to me, it's all about control. That's what I think. And even with the GMs, I watch baseball a lot, and I see what the GMs are trying to sprinkle out. At the trade deadline, and you're sitting there and say, why is he taking that guy when he can go after that guy? And then they look at, the analytics tell him, hey, well, if we go after this guy, if he's a late inning guy, we bring in the 8th inning. Well, his numbers say that he throws more strikes than balls. He's gonna pitch strikes, and that's what we want. So that's the problem with baseball. I think that's the problem with sports now. It's all about analytics. I think you need to push that away.
So I think there's a time and place for it. I think it's a great tool for players to use to get better, obviously with pitch design and when you get into the lab and you can, manipulate pitches and you get direct feedback. There's definitely a time and a place, and it's a great tool for baseball. I don't think it's the end all be all. I think there needs to be a nice little blend between having a little bit of feel, watching the game, and then obviously sprinkling in the analytics when you can. Question for you though, covering baseball. Tell me what you did before you were, for Sports Illustrated, and then what has it been like working with Sports Illustrated and MLB?
Yeah, so before that, I graduated from Tulane. I ran track there, so I was a student athlete there.
So we're your hometown, Nolens.
Yeah, and so
Nolens.
Yeah, it's awesome kind of be here. But I also did Navy ROTC at Tulane,
Yep.
And so then I graduated from Tulane, joined the Navy, commissioned as an officer, went to Pensacola, Florida, did flight school, and then I went off and flew aircraft and jets.
Didn't just fly aircraft, flew the
F-18, yeah. And
landed on
aircraft carriers, yeah. So It's been
He has like some infatuation with this. I think he gets hard every time you say that. He's
Bro.
like, do you know how hard that is? Do you know how hard it is? I know how hard I get. I
Dude,
don't get
it
hard
is
from that.
it is a life.
Seriously.
It's life and death.
yeah.
If you one slip, and I think there's nothing more. You don't get it anymore. I'm sure when you were landing on the air carrier, your adrenaline was spiking through the roof. Especially the story that you told.
Exactly. But sometimes, right, it's kind of like buying a fast car, right? And it's first couple of months you're like, damn, this is pretty cool. But then after that, it just kind of becomes normal and becomes a job. But
It's crazy.
But then as I was kind of getting out of the Navy about a year before. I'd always done some writing on the side. I wrote for USA Today, covered the Saints here in New Orleans when I was in college, and I kind of did that as a side gig, right, to kind of supplement my income throughout the Navy. And so about a year before I got out, I started covering the Phillies for SI, and then I took over all the Phillies coverage and was publishing just Phillies. And then got out of the Navy, went to Philadelphia for a year, got to cover their World Series run in 2022, and then just kind of been growing with the company since, and working with Sports Illustrated and on SI and all that kind of stuff has been, they're just a great team. And so, we were owned by another company a year ago. We went through an acquisition at the beginning of 2024. There was some kind of tumultuous time, but kept most of the team together, kept the band together. And, now we have this phenomenal media outlet that, we're covering all sports and all teams in a 360-degree type of coverage, and it's just been awesome. And again, affording me the opportunity. I don't cover football, but they're like, hey, you live in New Orleans, you want to go to the Super Bowl? I'm like,
yeah,
hell yeah, why not, man? Yeah.
The
perks. It's the perks.
There's always perks.
There's
when
always
you're
perks.
working for a major organization like Sports Illustrated, even though some of these guys, the ESPNs out there, the CBS, the NBCs, they're all over here. Omaha Productions, they're here for one thing, to promote their product and what their product is. And you're there standing for Sports Illustrated, and Sports Illustrated has a good voice, a face for their product. And they said, hey, you know what? You're good at what you do. Go and promote us, when it comes to the football end. It doesn't matter about the baseball. Baseball is right around the corner, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, they're like, go help us to, promote, football
Go
network.
beat somebody out with a baseball bat,
And then, you go and you make friends with baseball guys, and you talk baseball at the Super Bowl. So I'm doing exactly what they wanted me to do.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. You see that? And you get to hang out with us, and we got to hang out with you. Yeah. And had a lot of fun with you, let me tell you. A lot of fun with you.
Welcome to New Orleans.
Welcome.
That's right, baby.
We were welcome, so that's for sure. Welcome with open arms, I would say, from you. But we really appreciate
that's
the
Southern
time,
hospitality.
Yeah, you're great. You're great.
Yeah, thanks for
but I'm going
having
to tell you this. One question for you.
I got one.
And this is a really good question. You look at what Ohtani did this year, and you look at what Aaron Judge did this year. If you look at both guys, we all know that if the Dodgers did not have Ohtani, they win the World Series. No doubt. We talked to Scott about it. He agrees with that. Does Aaron Judge and what Aaron Judge has done for the Yankees this year help? If he didn't play for them this year going into the playoffs, he gets hurt. They go to the World Series. And if so, if you say that they wouldn't you think that Aaron Judge had a better season because he was the most valuable player for his team than Shohei Ohtani?
So I think that's two questions, right? What does the MVP award mean?
Yes.
Right. So is that the best player in baseball? Or is that the player that helps their team the most to get to the World Series, right?
Yes.
Get to the the big show, the big dance. And so in that sense, if we're saying it's the team that helps their team out the most, absolutely. I mean, Judge is the most talented guy on that roster other than maybe Garrett Cole, right? But at what Judge does, I mean, he's going to be a perennial MVP candidate, just being the best baseball player in the American League, as well as on the Yankees themselves. Whereas Ohtani, he's probably the best baseball player to ever live, right? Especially if he's on the mound as well. And so, other than Barry Bonds, but don't want to get too in the weeds there. But the Dodgers have a very talented, very, very talented roster that they've continually added to. And so, Ohtani not being on the Dodgers, sure, they win the World Series, but Aaron Judge is absolutely that linchpin on that Yankees roster. I don't think that I don't think they even probably compete with the Orioles without Judge.
Interesting. My question for you is: you covered the Phillies extensively. Did you have any interaction with the native Louisianian Aaron Nola? And what was that like? I played with him at LSU. Loved him. He was a freshman. Carried himself like a pro while being there. One of the most impressive bullpens and pitchers I've ever seen and ever played with. pretty quiet. But what was your take on on him, and how did he treat you as a media personnel?
I mean, he's just a great, Southern, Louisiana guy, right? I mean, he is quiet. I remember kind of going into the clubhouse and, he kind of keep to himself, especially, on days that he was starting. But yeah, every time I had any type of interaction, it was always very pleasant, great guy. And then obviously he's a monster on the mound. So I really hope he puts it all together for the entire year, because I think he needs a Cy Young in that.
He needs something to put up in that trophy case.
Absolutely.
And a Cy Young would look awesome.
We need to keep you away from drinking. Okay. I'm sorry. After 2 days, I was wondering what happened to you. I mean, this guy disappeared off the face of the earth. We come in on Tuesday, we meet you on Tuesday, and then you disappear for 2 days. I mean, you were probably sleeping. I mean, you were definitely for 48 hours trying to get back, equilibrium. Because you were in another world.
Hey man, that's what Louisiana people do. They get up and they ride or die, bro.
Yeah.
Puke and rally.
Yeah. I woke up and I felt perfectly fine on Wednesday, Nick did send me an are you alive text. So there was some communication the next morning, but it's been a little bit busy around here. That's going to be my excuse for that. But
you sure about that?
I don't know. I'm a baseball guy at the Super Bowl. I'm very busy.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Where's my liquor flask? Where's my flask?
Here, I got one in my boot here.
Here, let me pull one out.
Yeah.
Anyways, Kade, we really appreciate the time.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I know he's got your number. We'll get your information. We'll definitely get you on the show.
I'd love to, yeah.
And we'll interact. We'll interact.
Sounds good. Can I just deal with him, though?
Yeah. You don't want to deal with me? This guy's a prick. He's a giant prick.
Hey, bro.
Let's put this over his face.
That's a freaking dog, dude.
What the hell is this, anyways? Super Pepino.
Oh.
Pepino. Look, it is a pickle.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like something else, if you know what I mean.
Oh, goodness. Here we go.
Anyways, Kade Kistner, everybody. Fantastic. The publisher, not producer, of the MLB Sports Illustrated. We'll be back